YouTube. So, a start of a new line. So, there we go. We've got the Strongbowcaster. There's been a can of Strongbow, an empty can of Strongbow sitting on the shelf in my bathroom for 2 years, something like that. I think what happened was I didn't drink all of it, and then I poured it down the toilet, and then it just sat there. So I cut the can up, stuck it on the headstock. This guitar I just bought this last week. I nabbed the scratch plate for my Japanese Strat. So that's the scratch plate of this, and then I was looking at I just put another scratch plate on it, and then I got this gold one, this gold mirror from my pal Liam a month ago, something like that, and it looked pretty bad on the guitar it was on. The guitar it was on was a sort of dark purple colour, but it had gold knobs, the white pickups, and a gold bridge, and it was just too much. I think there's an element of, if you're going to put gold on, the right amount of gold, and in this case I think obviously it attracts fingerprints like nothing else. The only way you're ever going to have no fingerprints on it is if you totally clean it and then just don't touch it. Same with the black body. So to make it a bit easier, I didn't bother painting. This was just a black guitar. Normally I tend to paint black guitars. My plan was, actually I did a video yesterday, it was a before. What I was going to do was I was going to stick the neck from, and obviously that my other Strat there, I'm going to strip it, get rid of the paint. I decided I couldn't, the paint wasn't going to come off the scratch plate, so I just put a new scratch plate on it. So I thought I'll put the Fender neck and the Fender scratch plate with pickup, or not scratch plate with the pickups, and onto this guitar, and just to see whether the tone would make any difference. But if you look at the actual neck bolts on this, it's kind of square and they're further apart, so I'd had to drill holes in the neck, so I didn't bother doing it. It would have been an interesting one. Well, this seems to be made of solid wood anyway. This is actually a gear for music guitar, but an earlier one. So it's got like the wood is made of much nicer than the later ones. It's got the sort of decent type of tuners on it. I reshaped the headstock a little bit to make it a little bit more Fendery. It's not quite right the way. It's like kind of a bit. It's getting there, but I think that's maybe. I think maybe it just comes down to there's a wee bit of that. This isn't a straight line, whereas in this one it kind of is. Doesn't really matter, does it? Doesn't really matter. Yeah. So this is actually just this scratch plate was already loaded with these pickups. I think these might be Fender pickups though. They look very similar to the ones I got some out of what guitar was it? It was a Mexican Stratocaster. They're in my pickups box, and they've got a bit of tape on it that says on it from a Fender Mexican, because that's what I knew what they were, and they look very much like these. They've got the magnets on the back, but it's not like a fridge magnet. It's two magnets on either side of the pole pieces, which they look exactly the same. So these might be like Mexican Fender pickups. Humbucker, I don't know. I normally go into these things and put extra switches and stuff in, but I've seen a lot of these mirror scratch plates cracked when somebody's tried to do that, so I just didn't bother putting anything in this. This has just got, it's a strange one for me. It's just where you've got your 5-way selector, and it works like a 5-way selector, and you've got a tone for the neck and a tone for the middle. That's it. So the sound that I would have possibly added would be an automatic coil split on there to split this when you're in position 2, so you get half and half, but I haven't done that either. So in position 2, you set the humbucker and the middle. So humbucker. Position 2. See, it's still usable. It's not like it's like, oh no, you can't use that. It totally still sounds like position 2. Middle pickup. Position 4. Neck. Yeah, so I mean, I've got plenty of time for these guitars. I will be picking these up. It's kind of bizarre. I'd never seen one before. But my pal got one from a car boot sale about a month ago. It was up covered in stickers and stuff, and it was the Gear for Music one. And I was like, it's got like a script logo rather than like a kind of like a cog, I think, or Gear for Music in it. So it's like a gear. Didn't look like it. It's not like that, but it's just that generally it's all right. As a cheapy Stratocaster, it's like there's not really anything bad about it. It's obviously it's not the highest grade compared to the Japanese Fender. It's not as good as the Japanese Fender, I'll be honest. But it's all right. The frets are alright. I didn't really have to do any work on the frets either. They're not super jaggy. None of them were high. I just gave them a bit of a polish. What else? The neck. It's quite a chunky neck, which I like. I have issues with necks that move, and see when you're using it. I mean, it doesn't look like it's low grade wood. It will be lower than what Fujigen are using, but when you get like a cheaper end guitar that's got a very thin neck on it, they quite often bend, and it's like I don't like that. The idea, when it's too thin, it's like so. The strings actually, you have to set the truss rod so it pulls the neck back the way, so it's not flat. And then when you tune the strings up, they pull it flat. And I would rather just have a little bit more chunk on it. If you're going to be buying a cheaper end guitar, and you're like, I don't know, 150 quid type guitar, I would rather have a chunky neck, because then there's less chance of it warping and bending, just because there's more wood. Also, I quite like the feel of it. It's actually quite like kind of like a standard Telecaster neck, really. And it's like, I think it's actually a wee bit. I see that's a thinner neck. But I mean, again, when you look at these things, it's like it's a really thin neck. It's quite a chunky neck. It's probably only like a millimetre bigger or something like that. It just feels bigger. Got a big chunky slab of rosewood on it, and it is actually rosewood. None of your whatever. So it's pre whatever the rosewood problem was. Oops, let's hope that's not Civet. It's not. Cool. My pal asked me if I've ever played a Fender 6, and it's like, yes, I have. I've even built a couple of them. So I'm using the wee Carlton amp, which is fast becoming my favourite. I'm going to go back to the valvey ones at some point, but I was using that in the studio last night. It's an awesome thing. Which I have brought out for, I haven't done a video of the Ukraine guitar either. That's my Strongbowcaster to support, and that by playing that through the Sovtech, I could justify having the Sovtech and not feeling guilty about it a little bit. I'm just going to sell that and give all the money to, food for Ukrainians or something. Been watching that stuff on the internet. It's war. What's it good for? Fuck all. I'm just playing through that. No effects on. It does have reverb on the back of it. I'm just about to stick the rat pedal on. I might put some. Position 4. I'm going to turn on this MX XR78 distortion, which I borrowed off my pal, which I really like. Humbucker bridge. Rat pedal. So I mean, this is whenever I've still not done the video of what my perfect guitar would be. A couple of my pals, the two Foxes, Gary and Tim, not related, Blacktooth Fox and Fox's guitar. So both went for the ultimate guitar is an HSS Strat, which is what this is, which gives you the sort of the chance of a bit more metal using the bridge pickup. You know, good for your Iron Maiden or So you've got your rock sounds, and then if you just turn it, put it back onto the clean and then use positions 2, 3, 4 and 5, you end up with your sort of much more stratty, versatile type thing. Yeah, so I don't know who. I think most of the people who buy these, I normally put so many switches in it scares beginners and stuff off. But I mean, if you're talking about a guitar for learning on, it'd be absolutely fantastic. Nice low action, everything works. It's been set up. Why you just fancy a wee bit of a go for like a backup guitar? Even just you don't have a Strat. What do you mean you don't have a Strat? But you're maybe a little bit scared. Oh, I know what I was going to say. my main gripe about this guitar, like there's lots of guitars I complain endlessly about for just having shite wood. You know, just there's lots of them. I saw someone selling an Erin just now. I had an Erin Strat that basically awful. Everything on it was just crap. Whereas everything on this is okay. There's not. The one thing that did get me was I've got a wee thing. See the dots you see on the edge of the fingerboard. I was looking at it and that one there is not perfectly in the middle. That wants to be just a wee bit further down, and that annoys me. But look at that one. Look, the two dots for traffic. One of them is not even. One of them, what? It doesn't make any difference how it plays, anything like that. But you know, you look at it and you go, it's really. It's like you can't even So that one of the dots is in the rosewood and the other one is half in the rosewood and half in the maple. It's like, you wonder how. It probably means it was done by hand though. Like with somebody with a really long drill bit like that. Here we go. Ooh, yeah. So, you know, I think that's the thing. When you look at it, it's like that when you get to really expensive guitars, they're hand built. Like the best ones, not even, I don't think there's very many Fenders and Gibsons that are hand built. You know, like I'm talking more, maybe your custom shop a little bit. But when you go down to the other end, especially maybe not now, this is probably 25 years old, something like that. Rather than having the, you know, they probably were actually finished by hand. These frets were probably had somebody doing it, and the neck probably had somebody sandpapering it. You know, like an actual skilled person, rather than it just coming off an assembly line. What can be good things and bad things, but that's I didn't notice it on the other one, so I don't know whether they're all like that. But if you're looking for, so I was looking at this and I was going to take it. Same thing happened with the last one. I was going to take it down to download and use it in the campsite because I got that last one free, and then it's like, all right, and then I took off all the stickers. I thought, so I'll just paint it Buckfast colours. Painted it Buckfast colours, and suddenly realised actually it's worth money now because it's a Buckycaster. Like, all right, so I just sold it, and then this one kind of the same sort of things going on. I mean, it was fine. It's like it was a fine guitar, but by the time I went to the effort of just basically cleaning it more than anything else, and, you know, and setting it up, you have to set up any guitar. But that's where the money comes into it. It doesn't matter if you're buying like this. Compare this to, I don't know, what's the cheapest Squire, about 120 quid for the Squire Bullet Strap. That's a better guitar than that, and also it's been set up. Whereas the Squire Bullet Strap will not have been set up. It'll come straight out of the box and you'll get it. And like, whereas this one, like all the chords ring, there's no buzzes. You can play it high up the neck, and the humbucker's just a good thing. It looks really cool. It's annoying me, the Strongbow logo. I wonder if that's maybe the best way of doing it. I should probably just have cut off the bit that actually just said Strongbow and not bothered with the Archer. But I kind of wanted to have the logo on it. Maybe if it's done now. To be honest, if you just take out that screen, it'll just peel off. It's just held on with super glue. You could put your own Strongbow thing on it. Actually, I even went to the shop and tried to buy Strongbow, and you can't buy a can of Strongbow. I had to buy four pint cans from them. I was like, what? 4 pints of Strongbow? I just literally wanted a can so I could cut out the bit that said Strongbow on it. And I thought, and I kept thinking, where have I seen it? It's like every time I've taken a pee, I can see this thing hanging, sitting on the shelf in the bathroom. Yes, I do. It's a man's house. I live alone at present. So having an empty can of cider sitting on the shelf in the bathroom for more than a year is... It's alright, it doesn't smell or anything. So I might sell this. Don't know if anyone's interested. Actually, somebody at I don't do. I get a lot of messages. Oh, could you build me a guitar? I've done it a couple of times, and quite a lot of the time, people are just bored. If it's folk I don't know, it's different if it was somebody I knew, but it was somebody you don't know. And it's like, I'll get, yep, no problem, I'll build the guitar you wanted, and then you never reply to you. And you're like, bastards, I spent all that time building it, and then they're just obviously sitting bored going, I'll just waste some time here. And it's like, I don't mind chatting away, but don't kind of go and know. Yeah, I mean, I get messages for that as well. It's like, would you be able to fix the wiring in my Strat? No problem. Okay, I'll get back to you. And then literally it's a year later, right? I can bring my guitar around and I'm like scrolling up the message. I talked to hundreds of people about guitars. It's like, all right, I don't remember this, but I mean, yeah, I said I could do it, and I just don't remember what it was you were talking about. But there's a guy who wanted me to make him a Strongbow. He said, it doesn't need to be good, it doesn't need to work. I just want it cheap, and it's like, and I said, I will make one eventually, but by the time we see it, how can it be cheap if I've got to paint it and make parts for it? So I'm going to give him first option on this, but it's not for hanging on the wall. You could hang it on the wall, obviously, but it's actually a good guitar. You know, it's like it doesn't actually cost that much more for me to just make one that's good. I don't like the idea of like putting my name to one that, you know, it's like, oh, it's only an ornament, you know, using an old bent neck or something like that, because then it's going to go, oh, it's a Mad Marco guitar. Well, this plays really shit. I've got a reputation. It's got to be that plays surprisingly good. Is the reaction I'm really after. Oh, that's a real guitar. So anyone like Strongbow? I do quite like Strongbow, I suppose. Couldn't drink 4 pints of it, and I'm not taking any to download this year. I took it. That's probably, was it 3-4 years ago? The last time I went, I got my pal Wayne to get me an 8-pack, something like that down there, and I think the 8-pack sat in my Land Rover. I think I drank 2 or 3 of them, and then the rest sat in the Land Rover until they went out of date, which was a waste. But I don't really like drinking. Yes, I know I do drink on a Sunday night, but that's because I've got folk round. Never drink alone.